Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is Friday, November 15th. Another good show for everybody here, and we get lots of good games to preview for this week and to watch this weekend. Starting off hot with the Thursday night game, Commanders-Eagles. I'll give a blind recap of that pretty soon. Then on Sunday, we get Ravens-Steelers, Seahawks-49ers, two big divisional matchups there. And then to top it all off, Chiefs-Bills in that late afternoon slot. And then Bengals-Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Good week of football. And as always, I'm here to preview all of it. Also do a little bit of an NFL Weekly update. Not that much to really talk about. I mean, we got a few things to talk about, but compared to how some of the other weekly updates have gone, this has been a relatively slow news week NFL-wise, but I'm here to cover all of it. Let's get into the episode here. We'll start off with this NFL weekly update. Couple knee injuries, and I say a couple because it's literally just two. Austin Jackson out for the year with a knee injury, the Dolphins' right tackle, who's been playing very, very good football, out for the rest of the year, and this hurts our offensive line a little bit. Not good when you lose a starting offensive lineman for the rest of the year, but lucky enough, the other team here, the Buccaneers with Tristan Wirfs, he's only going to be out a couple weeks, it looks like. They're on bye this week, so they don't have to worry about much right now, but having Tristan Wirfs not be ruled out for the season is huge for them. But yeah, those are the only two injury updates really need to give. Obviously, there's a couple guys who are coming back from injury, but I don't usually talk about those. These are just the guys who did get injured, and there's only two of them this week, or two notable ones, because I was thinking there must be other people who have got injured this week. Like, we don't see that little injuries in the NFL. I don't know. I guess Kendall Fuller got hurt, but I think he's fine. I don't know. Either way, we will move on. No one, Rapp, Schefter, Ari, none of them tweeted about guys getting injured other than these two. So let's move on here. Diamador Lenore, one of the funnest names. It's not funnest. I don't know why I keep saying funnest, but funnest isn't a word. One of the most fun names to say in the NFL, Diamador Lenore. I'm just going to say it again here. 5-year, $92 million extension. Very good deal for him. He is, again, a corner that not a lot of people, not the average NFL fan, knows about, and that's fine. He's still, I believe he's 25 years old. I could be wrong about that, and Diamador Lenore. He is 25. Look at me. I'm so smart. Yeah, so 25 years old, still very young, gets a 5-year contract, and I feel like we haven't seen a lot of 5-year contracts recently. Maybe that's just me and my goldfish brain not remembering things, but the Niners lock up one of the better corners in the league, still getting better for them each and every week. They have a very nice secondary, and usually the Niners secondary is one of their weaker points, but they got Charvarius Ward, they got Diamador Lenore, and rookie second-round pick Renardo Green has also looked good. They got a lot of fun names in that secondary, just now that I'm thinking about it, too. So you got Charvarius Ward, Diamador Lenore, Renardo Green, Talanoa Hufanga, Malik Mustafa. Bunch of fun names to say. Either way, very good contract. I think it puts him on fringe top 10 range for a corner. He's getting $500K less AAV than the Jalen Johnson deal. So again, this is one of the lower end corner markets, and there are guys that will be beating this deal. By the end of his 5-year deal, it will be obviously, we'll see how he progresses and if he doesn't fall off, but if he continues to play as he should over these next 5 years, by year 3, 4, 5, this is going to be a steal of a contract. Very good job by John Lynch, and very good job for Diamador for securing all that money. Couple Bears notes here. Shane Waldron gets fired, the Bears offensive coordinator. They are done. They have parted ways with him. And for good reason. It wasn't working. Everything was way too overcomplicated, it seems. He didn't do a good job in Seattle last year anyways, and people are looking for someone to blame. And Shane Waldron was the easy person to blame on this Bears staff. I think there's a lot of blame to be placed, but he's the easy one to be like, okay, he needs to go. And who comes in to be the new offensive coordinator, you might ask? It is Thomas Brown. You might know this name, you probably don't, but Thomas Brown was the offensive coordinator who stepped up last year to take over play calling duties from Frank Reich on that very, very bad Panthers team, and nothing really changed. So they went from Shane Waldron to the guy who was the offensive coordinator for the 2023 Panthers. It's not a huge upgrade. I guess we'll see if it's just more of like a comfortability thing with Caleb at the end of the day, but just another dysfunctional Bears thing that's going on. And the other Bears note here was guard Nate Davis has been cut. This is just 1 year after signing a 3-year, $30 million deal. Obviously, Davis will get picked up somewhere, probably after this week. But, I mean, if you just look at it from the player side, he did not play well. He did not live up to any expectations in his contract. But at the end of the day, for I don't know how many starts he had over his 1.5 years in Chicago, but Ari Meirov said he made $20 million. So that's a win for him, regardless of circumstances. He made $20 million to play bad football. He made $20 million. That's just incredible. But he clearly couldn't play anymore, at least on the Bears. We'll see where he goes, and maybe he gets a little career resurgence here. But on the Bears have been looking for anybody at all to help them on their offensive line, and they've gone through so many injuries, and the fact that Nate Davis couldn't be like a consistent okay starter for them is definitely worrisome. Again, maybe it goes back to coaching and scheme and what everyone's asked to do. I have no idea. I'm not in the locker room, but Nate Davis is gone, and this is just another bad move by Ryan Poles. Give Nate Davis 3-year, $30 million. Don't fire Matt Eberflus last year to get Jim Harbaugh. Trading for Chase Claypool for a second-round pick. I think the ice is thin on Ryan Poles, but I don't know. The Bears have a lot of things to work out, obviously, and I don't think that they do it this weekend. And we'll talk about that game shortly, but we can keep moving on. Big news for the Patriots here is stud defensive tackle Christian Barmore is back at practice. Not going to play this weekend, but this is a big step for him. He was diagnosed with blood clots and something he needed to kind of step away to figure it out for himself personally and health-wise. But the Patriots have definitely missed him this year, and getting him back on that defensive line will be a huge boost for the Patriots down the stretch. And I mean, the Patriots, I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm not even going to joke about, they could make a run, but adding Barmore back to this defensive group that already is a very good defensive group. They're missing a couple key guys, but they got Barmore, they got Gonzo, they got Duggar. Those are some good building blocks for them to work with. Obviously, wish the best for Barmore, and I think we can leave it at that. I think last note up here. Again, it was a smaller NFL Weekly update, but this is more of a fun one. Former Dolphin Trill Williams signs with the WWE. Now, I'm sure that many of you don't know who Trill Williams is. He was weirdly one of my favorite college players, so he went to Syracuse, and yeah, as people know, I'm a draft guy, and Andre Sisco was one of my favorite safeties coming out of Syracuse. He's now on the Jags. He's having a pretty good career so far. But Trill Williams was his running mate there at Syracuse for their 3 years, and hell, when you have the name Trill Williams, you just pop up more on social media because that's a sick nickname, but goes to the NFL, lots of injuries, things didn't break his way, and that's the story of a lot of guys, but he signs with the WWE. He has a big personality. I'm interested to see where this goes for him. So shout out to Trill, one of my favorite Dolphins players who didn't really see much action anyways. But yeah, we can go on to the blind Thursday night football recap here. Commanders versus Eagles. So I've been saying that the Commanders are going to fall off, have a second half slump, and I continue to be proven right. They lose to the Steelers last week. They have another loss to the divisional opponent, and now the divisional leading Eagles in this one. The Eagles, I mean, despite all of the flaws at coaching with Nick Sirianni and all the bonehead moves he makes during the game, the Eagles are just far too talented on both sides of the ball to lose games. And I think it's as simple as that. They get a big boost, too, with Jordan Mailata coming back to man that left tackle spot. And Saquon Barkley able to continue to do his Saquon Barkley things. Another 100-yard game, another touchdown in this one. And the Commanders, and listen, I'm talking about all the good that the Eagles have done, but the Commanders did put up a good fight. They are so far ahead of schedule, in my opinion, from where I thought they were going to be this year. And you can see, again, they are building towards something. But this year, again, got out, I mean, can't say they got out ahead of themselves because, obviously the goal is to win, and who cares if they're winning a lot of football when they're not supposed to be. But that's good. That's good, and the Commanders, again, their talent isn't there. Their talent on either of their units just do not match up with the Eagles whatsoever. But they're building. They're building. This offseason should be fun for them. Final score, though, Eagles 30, Commanders 20. That is the blind Thursday night football recap. I think I've been 2 for 2 in the last week, so maybe we can see if this is 3 for 3. I mean, all of those have asterisks on this because obviously I'm not getting everything 100% correct because I would be somewhere else on vacation if I was that good at predicting football games, but I am not. And we can get into the NFL weekly update, the Week 11 NFL preview. That's what I was trying to say. Teams on bye this week. We have the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Bucks, and the Giants. Not really missing a lot of those teams, for being honest, so let's start it off. The number 22 ranked Colts the number 22 ranked Colts, go against the number 23 ranked Jets. Jets -4, total set at 43.5. So on Monday, Shane Steichen, after the bad Flacco performance, was like, nope, Flacco's our starter. Simple as that. Whatever. 2 days later, it is announced that Anthony Richardson will be the starter for the rest of the season. So I think this kind of confirmed some suspicions of mine of who was actually in charge of making these decisions. And I think it all goes with the owner, Jim Irsay. He's like, no, we have a good team. We can win. We can make the playoffs. And Joe Flacco just clearly wasn't that guy. And then Anthony Richardson goes back. I think that if Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard had their say in this, Anthony Richardson would have been the guy all along. But Shane Steichen is just taking the brunt of the abuse because when you're the head coach, it's just kind of what you have to do sometimes. You're the talking head for whatever the owner wants to do behind the scenes. But Anthony Richardson is back, and I think this is for the benefit of the Colts. More so for the long run than the short term, but I think Anthony Richardson gives you more than what Flacco's been doing. I mean, Flacco, it's he's completing 66% of his passes, but when he has 3 interceptions and 180 yards, who cares? I would much rather have Anthony Richardson throw or complete 45% of his passes for 230 yards for a couple TDs, couple interceptions, but taking chances, being able to evade pressure in the pocket. Again, let the young guy develop, and the Colts are going to do that. The Colts have good weapons. This is a pretty good matchup, but I am in on the Colts, mainly just because the Jets suck. I don't care about the talent level on their team, and I should have taken my advice last week because, I didn't bet the Jets, obviously, but I avoided the Cardinals because I was like, the Jets, they had a big win against the Texans, and, they're building off a little something maybe in the roster. The talent on paper is good, but the Jets suck, and the Jets will just continue to suck. It's as simple as that. Aaron Rodgers apparently wants to come back for 2025. I don't blame him because he has a lot of money on the table, but that would be the worst case scenario for the Jets. I would love to see Aaron Rodgers go into like a QB competition with someone like Sam Darnold next year. I mean, Sam Darnold is definitely not going back to the Jets. Let's make that very clear. Maybe the Giants. That would be a fun full circle thing for Sam Darnold, but yeah, the Jets I just don't care about anymore. I'm banking on like that Anthony Richardson bump, him looking fun, him looking like a good quarterback, but we shall see. Big divisional matchup here. The number 3 ranked Ravens go against the number 8 ranked Steelers. Ravens -3, total set at 47.5. This is the Deontay Johnson revenge game, and I was like, is it really the Deontay Johnson revenge game? Because we say this a lot when just any player is going against their former team, but Mike Tomlin added some fuel to the fire in one of his press conferences this week. He said he's not on their video a lot. They've got more significant pieces with larger roles that occupy my attention. That is very fair, because since Deontay Johnson has been a Raven, he has not been there. It's still been the run game and Lamar with Zay Flowers and the 2 tight ends and Rashad Bateman with Deontay again. Mike Tomlin is right. He has not been involved, but I think this is enough of a thing to be like, okay, Deontay, you've been here for a couple weeks. I have no idea what's going behind the scenes with him at all. But I believe that Deontay Johnson is a very good player, and the Ravens traded for him for a reason. And I think this is the week where Deontay Johnson can actually do something. I will be betting on him. I don't know what his overs are going to be or what like his alt line totals are going to be, but I'll bet something. I think when I bet him last week to get 40 yards, I think the odds came out to like plus 275 for 40 yards. So that's not bad. I will probably take something along those lines again, but this is going to be a really good matchup. We get to see the Ravens, who have been a very good team for a long time, versus the Steelers, who have also been a very good team for a long time, but very good in a much different context. Because no one's really taken the Steelers as like a serious playoff contender threat for quite a while now. Like probably we can go back to when they had Antonio Brown and Lev Bell on their team. Like that was probably the last time frame roughly of when we're like, okay, gotta watch out for the Steelers. But I'm still not buying in what the Steelers are fully doing. I really like their defense. I think that their defense has always been good. No issues there. And the offense has been looking pretty good. The run game, it got shut down last week, or at least Najee Harris got shut down last week. But all this offense is moonballs to George Pickens, moonballs to Mike Williams, check down stuff. Russell Wilson cannot throw to the middle of the field. And I think that the Ravens are just better. I don't know. I think it's that easy at the end of the day. I think that even though their secondary is very weak, they got enough guys where they know what the Steelers want to do. I think that they'll be able to stop the run, they'll be able to play the deep balls, and everything in between. It's hard for Russ to make those throws anymore, make the tough, contested, tight window throws. So yeah, I'm definitely on the Ravens in this one. It should be a fun one, but this is, again, it's a big divisional matchup. Throw out the record books whenever these two play, but we'll keep moving on. The number 6 ranked Vikings versus the number 24 ranked Titans. Vikings -6, total set at 43.5. There's a world where I see the Titans play this relatively close to the Vikings, because again, I do think the Titans have a good defense. The offense is whatever, but at the end of the day, it's does Sam Darnold have another pumpkin game in him, or does he kind of regress back to where he's been, or not regress, but progress back to where he's been for the most of the year, and last week was a fluke for at least this season Sam Darnold standards. The Vikings are just better, though. They're better top down. Actually, I feel like, no, I take it back. I was going to say, though, these rosters are constructed pretty similarly, but at least if you take maybe Vikings a couple years ago, they're... No, I'm not. I'm taking back those comments. Rewind, that didn't happen. I'm not going to cut that out anyways, but Yeah, the Titans are just not good. Again, there are pieces to like, and do I trust Will Levis having back to back like normal, no bonehead bozo plays? I think that's where I'm going with this. And no, I do not trust Will Levis to have back to back decent performances by his standards. And yeah, the Vikings, again, didn't score a touchdown last week. I would think that would be a big emphasis for them is to, hey, let's cut down on these red zone mistakes. But as I said last week, I got a Kevin O'Connell Coach of the Year ticket. I got a Sam Darnold to lead the NFL in interceptions. If there's a happy medium where the Vikings can still win the game, but Sam Darnold throws 2 interceptions, that would make my heart warm. So that's what I'm cheering for in this game. Sam Darnold, couple interceptions, Vikings still win the game. I think that's doable. I think that's very doable. We can keep going here. Next game up, the 21 ranked Browns versus the number 27 ranked Saints. Saints -1, total set at 44.5. Jameis Winston revenge game. Ooh. But no, this, well, technically it is, but whatever. The Saints got their big bump from interim head coach Darren Rizzi last week, but that's all I think that was. That was the interim head coach bumped. I mean, they blocked a kick. Younghoe Koo missed another 2 kicks. I don't see the Browns, again, well, I shouldn't say that. I could see the Browns definitely making a bunch of dumb mistakes because it's the Browns, but they are much talented, much, much more talented than the Saints. And I think the Saints were playing hard, new coach, new whatever. You got that vibe going, but Browns off a bye week, time to prep. Yeah, I think Jameis Winston is going to have, again, he's going to have a Jameis Winston game, interception, but I'm banking on a big Cedric Tillman game because I want to start Cedric Tillman in fantasy this week, but Chibs just needs to take Tyreek off my team, and he's just impossible to trade with. I mean, if you know who I'm talking about, which some people probably don't, but I have agreed to many deals with Chibs in the day for him to just ghost me, stop answering, and then be like, no, I don't want to do that deal anymore, even though we both agreed to it. But end of the day, whatever. Talking about the Browns and Saints. Yeah, I think the Browns just have the better team in general. I don't believe in Derek Carr. I don't think MVS is going to have 2 big splash plays again. There's a lot went well for the Saints last week, but again, it's that coaching bump. I think the Saints lose this one. I'm on the Browns this week. We can keep going here. The number 31 ranked Jags versus the number 2 ranked Lions. Lions -14, total set at 46.5. The Jags just suck. Mac Jones will be playing this one again, and I don't see the Jags sticking in this one because Sam Darnold throws 3 interceptions in the red zone. With that being said, Jared Goff did have 5 interceptions, but that was a very uncharacteristic like Jared Goff game, and I think it's pretty safe to say he's not going to throw an interception in this one. I don't know. Maybe, but either way, the Lions are just so much better on every single level. I don't see in any world how the Jags can win this one, let alone even cover the spread. Again, it's a huge spread. It's 2 touchdowns. But the Jags, they're atrocious. Mac Jones is the big factor in this. If he will be the quarterback again, the run game is going to suck. Maybe BTJ and Evan Ingram can make a few splash plays, but Zadarius Smith is going to make his first game as a Lion. I might bet him to get a sack. So they get added pass rush help, and that defense is already playing very well. Yeah, the Jags don't have a chance. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take the Lions -14 just because it's a fun line to pick. We can keep moving on, though. Another big NFC North divisional class, the number 5 ranked Packers, against the number 25 ranked Bears. Packers -5, total set at 40.5. Packers coming off a bye, Jordan Love a little bit more healthier, going against a pretty decent Bears team and defense. Well, no, just a defense. I'm not going to say team because it's definitely not a good team. We'll see if the Bears, again, because I talked about it last week, where I want to do an episode of bets that I want to make, and the interim head coach bump is a real thing. I don't think it works for offensive coordinators, though. Do I think this offense is going to play a little bit better? I definitely do. But I don't think it's going to matter at the end of the day. I think this would be a bet on DJ Moore to do something game. That seems like a guy who's been annoyed and frustrated by the whole situation. He hasn't really got going, and they will look to get him involved like he should be getting involved in this offense. So I think that's kind of my note for this one. Maybe bet some DJ Moore stuff. The Packers, though, the Packers are just simply better. They will be able to pick out whatever target they want to do because they have a lot of guys that they like to throw to. The offense will be fine. The Bears would have to force a bunch of turnovers to win this one, which, hey, Jordan Love loves throwing interceptions. It's as simple as that. But the Packers' defense is very solid at the end of the day. Maybe Xavier McKinney gets another pick in this one. I don't know. But Packers, pretty sure they're going to win this one. Let's just keep it at that. The number 32 ranked Raiders against the number 13 ranked Dolphins. Dolphins -7, total set of 43.5. There was a chance that we could get Desmond Ridder playing in this one, but no, for seems like, I don't know, the 5th, 6th time that Antonio Pierce has changed his mind about his starting quarterback. And look at that. Gardner Minshew is the confirmed starter again, even though he always should have been. Gardner's not a bad quarterback. He's just Gardner Minshew, and you have to accept that, leave him be, is what it is. The Raiders suck, though. The Raiders are bad. I'm interested to watch Brock Bowers for kind of my first game this year. Interested, again, it's always fun to watch Max Crosby, but these are my talking points with the Raiders every single week. Brock Bowers is fun. Max Crosby is also a bunch of fun. I think Christian Wilkins is still injured because that would have been a fun return to home, see Christian Wilkins play against his former team, but there's nothing interesting to talk about with the Raiders. They're praying that they land the first overall pick so they can draft Shedeur Sanders. Deion Sanders did come out and say that there is a list of teams that if they want to draft his son, that is a firm no. The Raiders won't be on that list. I think that is an organization that they want to go to. Tom Brady's a part owner now. Maybe Deion can even end up being the coach. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, the Raiders, there's nothing fun to talk about. Brock Bowers, Max Crosby, we can move on. Dolphins stuff. The Dolphins are just way better. We got the way better defense, way better offense. We're going to be able to run the ball at will. Tua's going to be able to hit all the spots he wants on defense. And that defense will be a problem. Zach Sealer, Calais Campbell, they have been an incredible force up the middle. Ramsey's playing well. Holland's playing well. Again, we're just so much better than the Raiders. So discard this one. Dolphins, easy win. We're getting back on track. Again, as I've said all year, the season starts American Thanksgiving against the Packers. That is week 1 for us. We just need to be in the conversation, and we will be in the conversation for a wild card spot going into that game anyways. After that, I don't know. Next game up here, the number 14 ranked Rams versus the number 29 ranked Patriots. Rams -5, total set of 43.5. The Rams didn't have a good game last week. Lots of turnovers again. They even talked about it on the broadcast. The miscues from the Rams need to stop. And again, they can't win a game kicking 5 field goals, and that's exactly what they did. Lucky for them, they play a Patriots team who feels like they're coming off a big emotional win and blah, blah, blah. They beat the Bears, and I'm sure that everyone's very happy in that locker room, but they're about to get served a slice of humble pie because I think the Rams are going to come in here and kick the ever-loving shit out of the Patriots. Again, I like Drake May, but that is it on this offense. And I talk about how much I like this Rams defensive line. They're going to kill. It's a very bad Patriots offensive line. And Rams on the other side, again, they're just too talented on offense for the Patriots defense, who is pretty good, to be able to stop. Gonzo can only cover one of Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp. The run game, Kyron Williams had kind of a down week. I think that he will have a pretty good week this week. I am completely on the Rams in this one. I think the Rams are going to smoke them, honestly. So we can keep going here. The number 15 ranked Falcons versus the number 20 ranked Broncos. Broncos minus 2.5. Total set of 44.5. This is the Falcons need to win this game. Not need to win this game because they're still firmly in control of that division, even if they do lose this one. But I think for how you feel about the Falcons moving forward, this is a game on their schedule that they need to look back and be like, yeah, we took care of business against the Broncos, and I like the Broncos defense. I like this pass rushing group and defensive line room that they have. They got a lot of guys who can make plays, not a lot of standout names. Zach Allen is really making himself a lot of money. I think he's under contract for a couple of years, but either way, he has been the focal point of that defense and has been playing great football. Pat Surtain is there, obviously, but at the end of the day, I think the Falcons' offensive line is good enough, and the weapons on Atlanta just are too much for... Again, the Broncos' defense is going to play well and whatever, but I think that the Falcons are going to outscore the Broncos to get them out of that range of what they can do. Because the Broncos' offense, again, they're not good. Courtland Sutton as your number one best offensive player, that's tough. I like Courtland Sutton, but he is a number 2 receiver at best now. Everyone else, Audric Estime, maybe is going to give them a boost in the running game. He didn't look all that great in all of his carries last week against the Chiefs, and this is a big one where, Justin Simmons' revenge game. That's in one to maybe bet a Justin Simmons interception. I don't know. But this game, it's a chance for the Falcons defense to kind of come into its own just a little bit, have an easier matchup on offense to be like, no, we held them to under, 14 points, 17 points. I don't know. I think it's a win if the Falcons hold them under 17 points here, but I think the Falcons are going to win. The Falcons should win this one. But that Broncos defense is very, very good, and I don't think I'm giving them enough credit. Sean Payton against NFC South teams. I think he has a very good record, obviously because the Saints coach stuff, but he plays those teams really well. I know it's been a few years since he's been out of that division, but regardless, we can keep going. The number 19th ranked Seahawks versus the number 7 ranked 49ers. Niners minus 6.5. Total set at 47.5. Seahawks coming off their bye. They get DK Metcalf back. That is big. Their offense should be fully functional, ready to go. This seems like this is going to be a classic Niners-Seahawks matchup. And I was going to say edging, but I can't say I'm edging because pause. But I'm close to being I'm going to take the Seahawks with the spread in this one just because divisional games, especially these two teams, are always very close. And the Niners have been playing they've let teams back in late. Again, they've still been playing good football. They've been winning their games, but the Niners need to win this one to kind of take a little hold on the division to catch up with the Cardinals, because that loss against the Cardinals is going to be a big one by the end of the season. But yeah, at the end of the day, this might be the big CMC breakout game. He just kind of got his feet wet last week, didn't do too much, but this might be the game where it's okay, CMC, throw you into the fire, give you to the Wolves, and he performs very, very well. Probably going to bet Christian McCaffrey 2 touchdowns. That just seems like a thing that he should do this week. We will see, though. The biggest matchup of the week, the number 1 ranked Chiefs against the number 4 ranked Bills. Bills minus 2, total set of 45.5. That's a low total. That's a very low total. Is that right? 45.5. I would like to see what the historical Chiefs Bills. So what I'm trying to say here is the totals of their previous matchup. Betting totals history. Because this always feels like this is a higher 40s into the 50s type game most of the time. And the Bills, again, Amari Cooper is going to be playing in this one. They got Khalil Shakir. They got their two number one receivers. Keon Coleman's still hurt, but either way, if they get those two, that is huge. Still got Dalton Kincaid, who's not having the season that I thought he would, but he's playing pretty good. The run game is good, and the Bills' defense has been, like, pretty good. Not great, and I think that just allows the Chiefs to score a decent amount of points as well. I think I take it back, though, because okay, it's about... Actually, I take that back. 2 games have gone under in their, like, since Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes have been there, like, been doing their thing. So I think I'm going to take the over in this one. I don't know who's going to win. I think this is just a fun over matchup to take. Chiefs and Bills. Sorry about that. There was literally nothing talking about me just being on my phone looking up things, but I think it's important to know the facts behind this historic matchup. Yeah, so I think the over in this one is it's a fun over to take in general, but these teams, they usually put on a show when they do play, and I think that this will be no different. I think that Josh Allen, with his 2 weapons kind of back in the mix, I'm interested to see how they do deploy Amari Cooper, because we haven't seen much from him. We had that touchdown from him in a pretty decent showing. I think he had, touchdown week the first week he played. I think an okay showing the second week, and then he got hurt, so that was that. But the Chiefs are undefeated at the end of the day, and I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs. That's why I'm betting on the over. Hopkins, I think, also usually plays well against the Bills. I got nothing to back that up with right now, but Hopkins, I think, plays well against the Bills. So maybe that's something. I bet Hopkins and Cooper to both get touchdowns or something. I don't know, with the over. We got a nice juicy parlay cooking up there. Sunday Night Football now. We get the Bengals at the Chargers. Chargers minus 1.5. Total set at 47.5. The number 16 versus the number 10 ranked team. Should have said that. 16 Bengals, 10 Chargers if you weren't keeping up. But this is a tough one because on one hand, you got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. On the other hand, you have a really well-coached and well-run team. I'll take the team that looks competent and has looked competent through the entire season so far, because that's what the Chargers have been. Crazy that at the start of the year when I was like, oh, Bengals or Chargers, that I'd be picking the Chargers at this point. But again, as I said, and I clipped it out, everything has gone right for the Chargers so far. Hey, and maybe me believing in the Chargers is going to slip them up, put a jinx on them. I'd be happy with that. That's fine by me. Actually, in terms of playoff stuff, I do hope the Chargers win this game because Bengals losing another one, if the Dolphins win this one, we will be ahead. Yeah, no, we'd be ahead of the Bengals in the playoff race, I'm pretty sure, which would be hilarious. But this is going to be a good one. I guess it's really for the Chargers. Can you stop Jamar Chase? I'm assuming T. Higgins is going to be back in this one. And if that's back, then okay, we got a little bit of a question because then you got to stop 2 guys. If T. Higgins isn't playing, I'm taking the Chargers 100% in this one. Again, I believe in what Harbaugh has been doing with this team. Justin Herbert is playing really, really good football. I think we can leave it at that. And finally, the Monday Night Football game here. The number 12 ranked Texans versus the number 30 ranked Cowboys. Texans minus 7.5. Total set of 42.5. The podcast boys are going head to head in this one. CJ Stroud versus Micah Parsons. Parsons definitely more of a podcast boy than Stroud is, but in the offseason, him and Stroud are buddies. They do a bunch of fun traveling together, so they will be facing off. I don't give the Cowboys a chance in this one. Cooper Rush is getting the start again. I don't know why. He gives absolutely nothing for the offense in any terms, again, he plays a little safer, but when you throw for 43 yards last week, who cares if he's not intercepting the ball because he can't move the ball. And if your quarterback can't move the ball and your running game is abysmal and garbage, maybe put Trey Lance in there who's going to make a couple wow plays, a couple dud plays. I think Trey Lance will get in the game in this one, probably by half. Maybe bet some Cooper Rush unders then. I don't know. But this is a huge bounce back game for the Texans in many ways. Nico Collins should be back. Bet on Nico Collins. Bet on CJ Stroud to have a good game. The run game should get going again. The offensive line has been bad, but it's really, you got to worry about Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons is definitely someone to worry about. But this is going to be a big bounce back game for the Texans, in my opinion, because I think the Cowboys are going to continue their streak of, I think they're up to 5 games now of trailing by 20 or more points at home. I think that streak continues. The Cowboys are not going to be able to score. Derek Stingley is going to be blanketing CD the entire game, and even if CD does get open, Cooper Rush can't get him the ball. So, firmly on the Texans in this one. Texans are going to kill them, and that is the Week 11 preview. Pretty good episode here. I think we could leave it at that. I gotta go buy a birthday cake for my mom. Happy birthday, Mom. Yeah, I think we can leave it at that, though. Do I have anything else to really say? No. Lots of key playoff matchups and lots of good matchups I said off the top of the show, but I think I can just end it here. As always, if you've liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, tell all your friends, and until next time, peace.